Please welcome Mr. Amir Emadi, President and CEO of Skylift Global. Mr. Emadi has been recognized by the WIAC board and governing body as one of the second-generation rising technology leaders. He will be joined with fellow professionals and students to share their views and dreams of the young Iranian-Americans for a future Iran.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Amir Maddie. I am joined on stage with Iranian-Americans who come from different age groups and from different ethnic groups. But we all are here under one common goal, and that's how we view the Iranian regime. So the voices that you're going to hear today are going to tell us the grievances that they have about the Iranian regime and what we can do to create positive change in Iran. So I'd like to first start with Ghazal, who is from Northern California, where she was born and raised. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you're here today?
I'm currently a graduate student at Northwestern University, acting editor-in-chief of the Journal of Integrated Marketing Communications coming out of the university. So I'm here to express my grievance about the fundamental inability of the people of Iran to act upon their call for regime change. This is because the current electoral process is largely a charade put in place for the rest of the world to think that there's a democratic election process in place when in reality there isn't.
And what do you think we can do? What do you think we can do to resolve this issue?
So the only criterion for legitimacy in this respect is a ballot box. Free and fair electoral process based on universal suffrage. It's really the cornerstone of any democratic nation.
Thank you very much. We have Shabnam here from St. Louis. Can you tell us more about yourself and why you're here?
Yes, I was born and raised there, but my parents were both born in Iran, and they moved here after the revolution, and I'm currently a high school student, and I'll be graduating soon. I'll be studying biomedical engineering in the fall at St. Louis University, and I'm here because I want to see a free Iran.
And what does a free Iran look like for you?
Well, currently there is no freedom of expression, and I have many opportunities here in the United States that they don't have. I'm going to be registering to vote and choosing a political party, which are things that they can't do. And with the recent uprising, the Telegram app was shut down, and I believe that there should be unconditional access to media.
Thank you very much. And next we have Cena from Kansas. What brings you all the way out from Kansas?
I am 16, and I've always lived in the U.S., but I'm also very interested in the Iranian culture, and I hope to one day be able to visit there and learn more about it, especially in Isfahan, because that's where my parents are from. But that cannot happen until there's some sort of change to make the country safer.
And what sort of change do you think we can make there?
Well, as we all know, the Iranian regime uses violence to suppress and tighten its grip on the Iranian people. For example, both public and private executions are used to essentially kill or intimidate any potential opposition, like we've seen in the recent uprisings. So I think that the abolition of the death penalty is necessary to take away this tool of repression that has been used to kill over 3,500 people under the Rouhani government alone, which is a number that is unacceptable by any international standard.
Thank you very much. Hasti is visiting us from Dallas. You were born in Iran, correct? Can you tell us a little more about that and your experience there?
Sure. My name is Hasti Hassami. Currently, I live in Dallas, Texas, and I work for oncology department of UT Southwestern. I want to tell you from my personal experience. Growing up and going to school in Iran, we were forced to go to these religious classes. That regime pretty much, you know, it's regardless of everybody's religion and beliefs. So it's set by regime. And then sometimes we had to pray for like 1 hour a day. Can you believe that? And as we all know, all social and political activities that criticizes government is basically against the supreme leader, therefore against God, and can be punishable by death.
And this is something that is forced on you from an early age. And I mean, this is what can we do to resolve this in the future Iran?
So past couple of years that I've been living in the United States, I've seen that the separation of state and the religion has been established here. Like Thomas Jefferson says, for the future of my country, Iran, I too want a wall between church and the state.
I think that is something we can all agree with. We have Sippy here from Atlanta. You are very passionate about the women's movement in Iran. Tell us more about that.
Well, this past year has been a really empowering one for women, specifically in America. But, you know, when we compare that to Iran, it hasn't been the same. Only 17% of the women there are in the workforce, and, you know, little to no women are in leadership positions politically. So, and that's just because of the mullahs' mentality in their old-fashioned ways, because they fear any ounce of power that women have.
And we see, even just as represented here, the women in Iran are in the vanguard of all the protests, and we can see that fear in the Iranian regime. What are they asking for? What are they demanding?
We want complete gender equality. So basically, the women of Iran are fed up with the mullah's old-fashioned mentality, which is why the recent protests, they have been on the front line of the protests, because in order to achieve a free Iran and an equal Iran, we need complete gender equality.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Sadaf is also from Georgia. You go to the University of Georgia in Athens, and you're here to tell us about the judiciary system and the issues with the judiciary system in Iran. Can you tell us more?
Absolutely. Iran is using its judiciary system to pursue its own agenda, rather than the rights and responsibilities of its citizens. Imagine you're a political prisoner in Iran, and you have to appear in court for something that they charged you with. You are almost guaranteed to have no access to a lawyer or the right to defend yourself, and you are presumed to be guilty until you prove yourself innocent. But the judge's biased verdicts almost always rule in favor of the regime's suppressive policies. This very same corrupt judiciary system is responsible for the 30,000 innocent Iranians that were massacred in 1988.
What can we do to resolve this corrupt system? How can we change it?
Well, first and foremost, the head of the judiciary, Sadegh Larijani, needs to be held accountable for his actions, as well as all the mullahs. And they need to implement a judiciary system that allows for a free Iran based on the rule of law, not Sharia law, and give citizens the right to be tried in a public court with fair representation.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Nikki. Nikki, can you please introduce yourself and tell us why you're in DC today?
So throughout my studies in the sciences, I have become increasingly interested in global health. The health of every nation is rooted in honoring basic human rights. When these are violated, it is disheartening, because we have the resources as a civilization to see every nation progressing towards prosperity. This is not always seen. Unfortunately, we are sometimes led by the most greedy and the least noble. If we look in Iran's history, we can see that King Cyrus of the Persian Empire was quite a noble leader. He established what is recognized by many today as the first charter of human rights. Cyrus promoted religious tolerance, inclusivity, democracy, yet this is not reflected in Iran today. Ever since the 2017 uprisings, more than 8,000 have been arrested, 50 killed, peaceful protesters harassed. This is tragic. There is tragic irony that the civilization that birthed basic human rights lacks them today. Therefore, a sustainable future Iran is one where there is a commitment to the Declaration of Human Rights.
Absolutely. I think we can all agree and commit to universal human rights. Next, we have Maddie, who is here to tell us about the economic rights that the people in Iran don't have. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so currently the economic structure of Iran is owned, operated, and regulated by a clerical regime. 40% of the workforce is currently in public sector companies, and 20% of privately owned businesses are actually owned by the Islamic Republic. So unfortunately, what we see here is that there's no room for the citizens of Iran to own and operate their own businesses without the government interfering.
And so what sort of solution do you envision?
So the people of Iran need to have more involvement in the economic growth of the country. A free market economy allows citizens to have private property and private investments and limits the involvement of the regime. What we want is for these businesses to be able to thrive and not have their choices limited by the government.
Thank you very much. Bear Borhani is also from California. Can you introduce yourself and tell us why you're here?
Yes, my name is Bear Borhani. I'm an international relations student at San Francisco State University, and I'm here because of the lack of global cooperation by the Iranian regime and the false guise of integration since the signing of the JCPOA.
What is it that we can do? Is the solution having global cooperation for Iran, or is there another type of solution here?
The clear solution is global cooperation, but not through the current Iran deal. The solution is quite simple. Tear up the current JCPOA, throw that aside, and empower the Iranian people.
Thank you very much. Finally, we have Pawnee from Houston. Can you tell us more? You were also born and raised in Iran. Can you tell us more about that and your experience there?
Yes. Hi, my name is Panta Hamdehidari, and I'm born and raised in Iran. I'm also Kurdish, and I'm a senior in high school, and I'll be graduating this year and aim to major psychology at Texas A&M. Iran has been deceiving and lying to everyone, especially the Kurdish people, and since it came to power, and it will never come short until it builds nuclear weapons.
What are your views on, let's say, a nuclear-armed Iran or the prospects of one?
Mullah's government have been destroying our community, culture, environment, and economy, and especially the Kurdish people. And sorry.
Do you think that having a free Iran is something that would essentially be a solution of this problem here?
Nuclear weapon have been helps to keep regime in power, and it will kill and destroy my generation and next generation to come. And I don't want to imagine a nuclear-armed Iran. This is a big threat to my people and the whole world, and I really miss Iran. I really want to go back, and I know the only way for me and all those who wants to go back is to see Iran free.
Thank you very much. So as Pawnee was saying, the issue is not necessarily just the Iranian regime is what needs to go, and a free Iran is what we're all looking for. Seeking the rights like having a ballot box or freedom of expression or the abolition of the death penalty are democratic values that we all believe in. Seeking the rights of having the separation of church and state and complete gender equality or judiciary rights with accountability, these are democratic values. Seeking the rights like universal human rights and a market economy, or a country that is free of nuclear weapons, and a country that integrates with the global economy and the global community are democratic values that we all believe in. The voices that you hear up here are echoing the demands and the chants of the Iranian people in our country. The international community needs to band together to empower our people so we can have a free Iran, one with democratic values. Thank you very much.